Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Virtual Racers Club. It's our Sunday evening league, the Formula X, and what a season it's been so far. We're here for round 5 at Les Sarthes, the traditional. We've got some things to catch up on before they start, which is going to be minutes away. I'm quite late this evening, I do apologise. So, after the last round of token spending, we are Aston Martin plus 1% power, Ferrari no change, Alpine plus 3% power. I'll find someone who's on track for you. Alpine plus 3% power, plus 2% weight, McLaren plus 1% power, Mercedes plus 2% power, plus 2% weight, Williams plus 2% power, Red Bull plus 1% power, and it says Ferrari no change. Okay, let's get on with the where we are and what we're doing. Hello and welcome. This Sunday we have the 5th round of the Formula X season at the home of the Le Mans 24 Hours. The layout will be the one without the chicanes on the Mulsanne Straight, which makes it 6 kilometers long, so it's going to be an interesting race. I've told you about the second round of token spends and where they're all at. The tyres for this weekend are softs and mediums. They're randomly picked before the event. The track is Les Sarthes, 18 corners, 8.43 miles and with 19 turns. Now the grid we'll be starting with at 8 o'clock is a reverse of the average points scored per race using drop scores. The grid below is going to be, on pole we will see Dutch with second place Darren Salmon, third Jim on Wise, fourth Noxie, fifth Kale, sixth Alexis Maximus, seventh Cthulhu, eighth Shadow Rider, ninth Jam, 10th Intulu, 11th Skyjacker, 12th Stevie Styler, 13th IR Graham, 14th Matt Psycho. Whew, right, I think that's it. I think I've got everything in there before they started the race. Both of them in the race, both of the mandatory tyre compounds should be used. Failure to do so will result in a disqualification. If you use another set of tyres other than the mandatory ones, then a 30-second penalty will be added to your final race time. And then just general reminders and red flags and such what. So let's concentrate on what we've got. Round 5 here at our kind of Formula 1 style championship. I think this is the midway point. Round 5 is at Les Sarthes. Let's have a look around before we start the race. Where is Daz? I'm trying to find someone who might be near the end of the lap. I don't think there is anyone near the end of the lap. We can go with Intulu. Let's have a look. On board, coming down the Mulsanne Straight. I guess that's where one chicane would have been. Just straight down. Wow, what sort of speed are they getting? 200 miles an hour? Doesn't look like there's anything more out of this car. It's not topping out, but it looks like 200 is your lot. Heavy onto the brake, not even turning in. 200 onto the brakes through Mulsanne chicane. Is it? I don't know. Sorry, I was just trying to look at my map and see. So we're up to Indianapolis, is it? If I've got it right. Lifted a little there, I didn't know where it's coming. Alright, we've got some people in the chat. Mika Wivery saying evening, Flashman, evening all. Pat says, hi, France is looking good. For the time of year, yes, it's very sunny. Alfie Wallington says GL Graham and Steve. Oh, good luck, Graham and Steve. Mika Wivery says car won't top out, being around 30% down on power. There you go. Mika is the one with the answers. Jim is asking if we are ready. All Jam, I says, is asking if we're ready. We will. We'll catch up. Let's get out of the car. We've got plenty of opportunity to sit on board. Daz is the fastest on track at the moment. Let me just give them a quick answer. With just a Y, because I've come in so late, I bet they're wondering what's going on this end. So I'll put a Y in, say everything's cool. I haven't read you the championship. I'll try and look for that next. That is one thing I'm remiss to do. I apologise. I thought it was going to be in that bit that I was reading from. FX season info. No tables in that. Oh yeah, there is. Tables are above. Okay, whilst there, he hasn't started the countdown yet. I'll see if I can quickly get this in before the drop scores. Matt Psycho's top of the table on 96 points. I'll tell you the top three, and then we'll see. Matt Psycho is at the top with 96 points. IR Graham second with 75. Stevie Styler is third with 68 points. Intulu is fourth with 47 points. Skyjacker fifth with 45 points. Sixth is Alexis and Maximus on 42 points. Jam is 7th on 39 points. 8th is Kale on 36 points. 9th is Shadow Rider on 33 points. 10th is Noxie with 26 points. 11th is Catula, but we'll catch up with the table some other time, because we are now lined up, ready, watching Dutch on pole in the Red Bull. Daz second on the grid in the Merc. They're pulling away good. The whole crew look like it's a nice tidy pull. And Dutch leading the way into the first corner with Daz there in second. It's all very close here. This is going to be scary into this first chicane. It looks like Jim Wise has overrun it. Daz is still on the road, but Jim Wise has joined again. Daz back up into second. Jim Wise in third. No, Jim Wise is dropping now. So Shadow Rider is up into third for Williams with Alexis Maximus in the other Red Bull. There's some bouncing around behind. Noxie in the Alpine in fifth place. Kale sixth in the McLaren. Jim Wise is seventh in the returning Williams. IR Graham is already up into 8th place. Stevie Styler 9th in his Ferrari. 10th place there for Psycho. 11th there now for Intulu. 12th for Jam in the Alpine. Catula down in 13th. And Skyjacker looked like he really lost out there. He started on the medium tyres though. Maybe that's the answer. Dutch is on the softs. Oh, it feels like they've gone straight on, but obviously no chicane. So Dutch leading from Shadow Rider in the Williams. Shadow Rider on the mediums, Dutch on the softs, Daz there on the softs. He's got the toe on Shadow Rider, it looks like. He's already gone past. There he is, up into second place. And he's got Noxie really close behind there. Noxie pulling it into second place now as they're coming up to the next corner. Dutch still leading from Noxie. Noxie's trying to find a way for past Dutch. He's grabbed his toe as well. The Alpine's running a little bit more speed than the Red Bull, and down the straights it's really starting to tell, because they just swallowed up. And there's Alexis Maximus in third. They're all bunched up into the first corner. Oh my god, Noxie's run really wide. I don't know if Shadow Rider had anything to do with that. There's Dutch in second spot now with Alexis Maximus in the next Red Bull. Then Daz fourth in the Mercedes. Intulu sixth for Ferrari. Jim Wise in the Williams in sixth. Seventh there is for Jam. Eighth now for IR Graham. Noxie in ninth after we saw he went wide. 10th for Stevie Styler. 11th there for Cthulhu. Kale in 12th. Psycho is down in 13th, and Skyjack is still there in 14th. It's all kicking off. Shadow Rider then leading ahead of Dutch and Alexis. We've got Williams, Red Bull, then the Ferrari of Intulu in fourth, moving ahead of Daz in the Mercedes. Jam is up into sixth, ahead of Jim Wise. IR Graham coming across him also. IR Graham on the medium tyres, Jim Wise on the soft. Jam is also on the medium tyres. Daz is on the soft. Daz is Darren Salmon, for those that have been following the season. Intulu there is on the soft, and he's giving some hassle to the Red Bulls in front. The Red Bulls, they had +1 power, but I think the Ferraris may have a bit of weight, and it says no change, but I think that's from the last token spend. Oh my lord, Alexis Maximus, they're all over the place here, fighting tooth and nail in Tulu and Alexis Maximus, and there is Daz trying to stay out of the way. These cars are so fast, this track is absolutely crazy. It is really mental out there. Poor Daz getting put back on the track. So Shadow Rider leads with 1.5 seconds from Dutch in the second Red Bull. Intulu in third, ahead of the Red Bull of Alexis and Maximus. IR Graham making a move on Jam. They're side by side going through the first corner, or second corner should I say. And there you see I.R. Graham pulling ahead of Jam. Noxie back in 7th place. He's on a comeback. There is Kale. Kale's moving up through the group now. We're fighting with Cthulhu. Cthulhu moving ahead for 8th place in his Mercedes. Kale in the McLaren down to 9th. Psycho up to 10th. With Daz, we saw earlier getting put back on track, down in 11th with Jim One Wise, 12th ahead of Stevie Styler, and Skyjacker just catching up the pair of those. Wow, what a race we've had so far. Shadow Rider running away with it. Intulu moving up ahead of those Red Bulls. I think the Ferrari had something like +2 weight and +3 power the last token spend before this second one, and obviously haven't changed anything. But they're all vying for places there as they're towing each other. It is crazy. Intulu there with I.R. Graham. I.R. Graham moving right up into 2nd spot. Sneaky, I didn't even notice. But this straight is absolutely mental crazy. Alexis Maximus bouncing all over the place. We're on board, whoa, with Alexis Maximus. He's up into 3rd. He's just about to take 2nd. But I.R. Graham's still there. And now we've moved up into 2nd spot ahead of I.R. Graham in the chat. Best of luck to my boys out there, says Mika Wivery. Gary Harden says Forza Ferrari, Flashman, good luck, Team Williams. Mika Wivery has taken it away. Oh, and I.R. Graham's pops back ahead of us now, sat on board with Alexis Maximus. There's Intulu. It's down to, whoa, heavy on the brakes for this corner, this tight left. Alexis Maximus sliding through it on his soft tyres. So your orders so far. Shadow Rider, ooh, late thought there from Alexis Maximus up the side of I.R. Graham. He's fighting Intulu. Dutch a little bit further back from them, dropping back a 2nd. Noxie up into 6th place ahead of Cthulhu in 7th, with Psycho there in 8th place, Kale in 9th, Jam there in 10th place, with Daz in 11th. They've got themselves into a nice little rhythm back here. Stevie Styler 12th ahead of Skyjacker. Jim One Wise dropping behind Skyjacker, but he's got him under the toe. Jim One Wise on them soft tyres and Skyjacker on the mediums. Shadow Rider 1.2 seconds leading on lap 2 of 18 here. Oh no, Shadow Rider's got it all wrong. I.R. Graham then takes the lead. Intulu there in 2nd spot. Alexis Maximus moving up into 3rd, Dutch 4th. Shadow Rider regaining it back into 5th, but Noxie slipping by. Noxie and then Cthulhu. What? The salt just keeps getting rubbed in for Shadow Rider, and he has Psycho not far behind him. What an absolute crazy race. And Matt Psycho, formerly Matt Psycho, now VRC Psycho, whoa, he's all over in them corners. Looks like Psycho's just about to make a move on Shadow Rider. Shadow Rider getting the inside line, but and there goes Shadow Rider. Shadow Rider losing the back of the back end. And Matt Psycho slowing down, thinking it may be his fault. I'm not sure. It looked like he'd slowed down, but he looks like he's back up to speed now. I'm not sure. Jam's not catching him up any faster than he would normally, would he? So I am not sure there. I.R. Graham though leading the way, 2.5 seconds ahead of the Ferrari of Intulu. Intulu now 1 second ahead of Alexis and Maximus. Dutch there in 4th for the 2nd Red Bull. Great points for Red Bull if they can keep hold of that throughout this race. 2nd Alpine there of Noxie, with I.R. Graham leading. Cthulhu there in 6th spot for Mercedes, 7th for McLaren, 8th there. Oh, the 2 Aston Martin boys are racing each other. Let's have a look at this. That is brave from the team, letting them race like this. Their principal, I think it's Pat, might have to have a word with these guys. So what's the big idea? Let's not slow each other down in these races. Daz is back up into 10th, formerly Darren Salmon. Shadow Rider, Shadow Rider. Oh, Shadow Rider now getting overtaken by Stevie Styler. The rear tyres starting to show up a bit red on those mediums. Maybe as soon as the mediums are worn a little, they're no good whatsoever. But Shadow Rider looks like he's coming back at Stevie Styler. How is Jam? and Psycho doing? Oh, Jam's coming down. Oh, Jam, what's happened? Have a quick look. So Jam there in 9th. Oh, it's Dutch. Dutch has dropped. It's the wrong person. We're watching the wrong person. Dutch has dropped down the order. Back to 8th. Jam getting past him to move up into 8th spot, but no, Dutch still keeping that spot, and then he runs wide, giving Jam that 8th. Well, meanwhile, Psycho looking like... Oh, it's got stuck here. Let me press that. Meanwhile, Psycho looked like he was having a go at Kale, but Kale's keeping it. All shifted around then. So IR Graham is leading on lap 3 with the fastest lap. He's on the medium tyres. He's 1.5 seconds ahead of Intulu. Intulu, we're on lap 3, just about to start lap 4. The last lap round, IR Graham did a 304.083. Intulu managing a 304.078. Alexis Maximus 1.5 seconds behind them with a 304.6. Cthulhu from Mercedes up into 4th spot. Fantastic stuff. Psycho is up into 5th. That'll be more what he wants. Jam is up into 6th. Daz is up into 7th. We've had a massive something happen down here. Kale and Dutch moving down to... Well, it's Dutch down into 9th. Knox is dropped into 10th. Stevie Styler moving in 11th, 12th. Now we've got a couple of pit stops. Skyjacker and Shadow Rider both getting rid of these medium tyres, it seems. Half tank of fuel used up in 4 laps, so in the lead. IR Graham 1.2 seconds ahead of Alexis Maximus, who just looks like he's towed past Intulu, but Intulu returning the favour, coming back at Alexis Maximus. Ferrari v Red Bull down the straight of Mulsanne here at Le Mans, and Intulu up into 2nd spot. Can Ferrari smell a win? It's been a while for them. So I'm going to go to the chat in a minute. We're just watching the racing. So in the chat we have Nick Widry saying Alpine are now on +4 power and +2 weight overall. Alan Sykes says good luck, Matt. Alfie Wolfington says Graham easy, and everyone said too good. So IR Graham leading the way as the Red Bull and the Ferrari of Alexis Maximus and Intulu were side by side through that corner. Now Alexis Maximus taking 2nd spot with Intulu in 3rd, but Intulu coming back at Alexis Maximus. This fight is not going to end for a while yet, and we do have to look how the rest of the field is doing side by side all the way along the straight virtually. Alexis Maximus dropping in behind. This is a slow bit of the track now, and it's some crazy driving we've got there from Cthulhu up into 4th ahead of Psycho by 1 second. Psycho did a 3:05.5 last time round, 3:05.6, so nothing in it between the Mercedes and the Aston Martin. Jam there in 6th place, following his teammate 3.5 seconds behind him. Daz there in 7th, slowly coming back. Kale in 8th, Noxie in 9th. Stevie Styler is in 10th place, 11th for Dutch, 12th for Jim Wise, and there's Shadow Rider after his pit stop on the soft tyres, and now 15 seconds adrift from the rest of the field. He's on his outlap, and Skyjacker also on his outlap, 10 seconds behind Shadow Rider, filled up with a bit more fuel. IR Graham now 3.7 seconds ahead of Intulu. Intulu has shaken off of Alexis Maximus. Alexis Maximus dropping down into Cthulhu's way. Someone pitting. Jam going in for Aston Martin. Psycho moving up into 5th place. Cthulhu at 4th. Alexis Maximus in 3rd, but he's not that far ahead of Cthulhu, where he was breathing down Intulu's neck earlier. Intulu 4.7 seconds behind IR Graham, 3.7 seconds ahead of the Red Bull of Alexis Maximus. Cthulhu for Mercedes, half a second behind the fellow Spaniards. Psycho chasing them down as well, so nothing can slow down for any of these guys on board with VRC Psycho. Get used to his new name. I'm still going to call him Matt from time to time. There you can see Cthulhu pulling the slipstream on, and so is the Aston Martin. He's going to carry on. Oh, a little bump draft there from Psycho on Cthulhu, a little nudge. down the straights. Yeah, why would Psycho give the Merc a nudge unless he doesn't want the Red Bull coming back at him, even though the Red Bull now he's trying to have a look around the outside. He's still not got enough. That bump draft is really helping Matt Psycho avoid the toe of the Red Bull, and now he's tried to cut out in front of Cthulhu. Cthulhu up into third place at the moment, with Alexis Maximus coming with the toe on Mercedes. Is all going to come to part here, and they're breaking down in the corner, and Matt Psycho under brakes gets through into third place ahead of Alexis Maximus. Cthulhu down into fifth place now, but they're going to do it all over again. Psycho on the soft tyres ahead of Alexis. They're all on the soft tyres, these three, fighting hard. Kale up to sixth place, still on his mediums. Others have pitted. Noxie now up into seventh on his soft tyres. We're on lap 5 of 18 for this race. Stevie Styler in 8th place, still on his medium tyres. Dutch now on the soft tyres. Jim One Wise up into 10th. Daz down in 11th. Jam has pitted. He's on his outlap now. He's 7.3 seconds behind Jam, 3.7 seconds ahead of Shadow Rider, so it's not very far. Shadow Rider has got some ground to make up. He's 10 seconds ahead of Skyjacker, who pitted also a little bit earlier. Ira Graham, no sign of a pit stop from this man. He's got quarter of a tank of fuel. His medium tyres look barely touched. 15 minutes into this race, it seems to be going past really quick already on lap 6, or just starting lap 6. Yeah. No, I thought he's gone in the pits then for a second. I was going to start spitting me Red Bull out. And there you see, just starting lap 6. Quite comfortable on these medium tyres. Cthulhu, Matt Psycho. Looks like the softs are giving up. I assume these are all going to put medium tyres on. They're all pitting. So Ira Graham in Tulu staying out there on the tyres they've got. Ira Graham on the mediums, maintaining a good lap time on those medium tyres at 303.9. Within Tulu doing 304s on the softs. Stevie Styler on the mediums at 304 last time around. He's got Kale breathing down his neck also on the mediums. Although I think Stevie Styler might have just got past Kale, with Kale doing a 306.040 the last time around. Oh no! Stevie Styler lost the back end, and so did Kale. I don't think it was related. Maybe Kale in sympathy. But Stevie Styler catching it, collecting it quite nicely, and getting back on his way again. But whoever he was racing, who's pitted, he's got to have lost a bit of time to them. Psycho moving up into 5th place after his pit stop, with Kale's mini spin, and he's got Cthulhu chasing him down as well after Cthulhu's pit stop. So these guys are all coming back after their pit stops. Psycho out, Cthulhu. I can't see Alexis Maximus. Jam somehow jumped in front of Alexis and Maximus in the pit stops. So Alexis Maximus 1.4 seconds behind the Aston Martin of Jam. Shadow Rider 1.1 seconds behind Alexis Maximus. They're all coming back together again now. Noxie, he's pitted. He's just a little bit behind Shadow Rider, 4.2 seconds. 7 seconds ahead of Skyjacker. Jim One Wise pitting and coming out after Skyjacker, 1.4 seconds. Dutch there in 13th, half a second behind Jim One Wise after his pit stop, and Daz there with his pit stop putting him in 14th. So Ira Graham must be thinking about a pit stop pretty soon. His medium tyres are showing a bit of red in Toulouse. Tyres must be feeling all sorts of rough, whereas everyone else seems to have got rid of their softs. Stevie Styler already using up most of his fuel, so he will be pitting. And there is the first of the pit stops, some 4.7 seconds behind Stevie Styler. Where are we thinking? But he's 28 seconds behind Ira Graham, so Ira Graham definitely can comfortably pit stop and get back out again with no trauma, I think, from Matt Psycho in Tulu. Very close to Ira Graham. Ira Graham had pulled that out to about 3 or 4 seconds, but I think Ira Graham is doing a bit of fuel conserve. He's still doing 303.9 though. Next to Intulu's 304. Maybe the weight of the Ferrari going against it, taking some fuel away. But there is Ira Graham. Intulu obviously also. Stevie Styler
The two Ferraris always seem to find themselves together in these races. But we would imagine Stevie Styler will be coming in next. IR Graham just getting to his pit crew. Intulu there, also pulling up to the crew. IR Graham's tyres are off. New ones on now, topping up with fuel. Intulu's tyres are off, topping up with fuel. Stevie Styler popping into the pits. Psycho there, just coming into the stadium. Oh, I definitely think IR Graham's definitely going to get back out there again. He's still topping up with fuel. He's moving now. There goes IR Graham. Intulu just started moving. So IR Graham back out onto the track in the lead, 2.2 seconds. Well, it's dropping all the time. It's very close. You can see with your own eyes how close it is. This is fantastic stuff here. IR Graham, the two championship contenders, out on track. It's a one-on-one, both on the soft tyre to fight it out. Can they go till the end? I doubt it. I think they may have to be, or definitely Matt Psycho will have to get more fuel. I don't know if an old tank. He's just made that last, what, six laps. So no, that'll only take him up to lap 12 for IR Graham. But they're on different strategies, only 8/10 apart. Matt Psycho will be enjoying that tow right about now. He's just in the plush sweet spot for it. In the chat we'll say Louis Silva says good race in Tulu. Pat says the close running of my boys was planned to get them the tow down the straight. Good stuff there. We see Psycho trying to have a move on IR Graham. IR Graham just letting him know he knows that he knows that they know that we know that he knows. IR Graham back into the tow of that car, leaving nothing. Ooh, little bump draft there from IR Graham, lifting, maybe doing a bit of fuel saving, waiting. Definitely looked like a little lift from IR Graham at the end of that straight there. So interesting stuff. IR Graham waiting for a different part of the track maybe. So Matt Psycho taking over the lead of the race on lap 7. IR Graham there in second. Intulu in third. He's put some medium tyres on with Cthulhu on the softs, only 1 second behind him. It's going to be a struggle for Intulu this next stint. So Cthulhu up into fourth. Jam for the second Aston Martin there in fifth place. Good points for Aston Martin. I think they're leading the table. I think they got good points last time round. And now we can see Jam only 4 seconds behind Cthulhu, but only 8/10 of a second ahead of the Williams of Shadow Rider. We saw him leading the race early doors. He had a little half spin. He quickly pitted, changed his strategy, and now he's out there running in a good 6th place, not far behind the Aston Martin, ahead of the Red Bull of Alexis Maximus. Alexis Maximus opted to top up with fuel, I believe. He went for a longer run this next run. Noxie in 8th place for Alpine. More good points for Alpine to come. Stevie Styler, we saw, he'd done the medium run. Now he's running to the end on those softs. And after the pit stop shook out, he was up there. He's one to watch for later in the race when people start pitting. Skyjacker in 10th, only 1.2 seconds behind Stevie Styler. A 3:05.390 last time from Skyjacker. Stevie Styler, he's on his outlap, so it's hard to say. It's close stuff between these two though. Skyjacker's starting to wear his tyres out already. 11th for Jim One Wise. Then in 12th we have the Mercedes of Daz. There is the Red Bull of Dutch, and Kale going into the pits. He's left it very, very late, but he's right at the back of the pack, so hopefully his race will get... Oh, it looks like he's stuck in the pit lane. Oh, this is shocking for him. Poor old Kale. Kale having an absolutely corker of a pit entry at the moment. Here we're back on board with IR Graham, checking out the back of the Aston Martin. Cthulhu is up into 3rd place, excuse me. But Cthulhu up into 3rd spot. Those tyres are for Intulu, the medium tyres. He's getting swallowed up. Cthulhu already passed. Jam tight in the tow. on the softs, and Shadow Rider catching up with Jam. All can change. We're 23.5 minutes into this race, lap 8 of 18. And look at this train of cars we have here. Cthulhu, Intula, Jam and Shadow Rider all in the slipstream, all trying to get past each other. It's an absolute crazy fest of Red Bull standard chassis with Formula One liveries painted on them. So looks like Cthulhu still a little bit safe from the guys behind. Intulu soaking up all that pressure of Jam and Shadow Rider. Alexis Maximus 5 seconds behind these. If he pulls it out, which he has done, a 303.6 his last time around, he may catch these up. 3 wide going into the tight corner. Jam's made it through. Oh no, Intula looks like he was out wide there. Intula losing grip in the corner. He's really out wide. Jam up into 3rd, Shadow Rider 4th, and Cthulhu is down into 5th. I'll have to give it a replay because everything changed there. So here we see all of them together. Intula ahead of Cthulhu. Intula just runs wide, and yeah, I think Cthulhu under braking just loses it to the 2 ahead of him. Wow. So Psycho still leading from IR Graham, but is IR Graham playing a tactical race? Just sitting this stint behind Matt Psycho. Matt Psycho has only got a quarter of a tank of fuel and some aging softs. He did a 3:03 minute .005. Absolutely stonking pace there. I'd say it's the fastest, but it looks like IR Graham topped that at the same time with the 2:59.768. What an amazing pace from these two leading this race, fighting tooth and nail. Now Shadow Rider has gone in for his second stop as... oh no, Jam is there fighting with the Mercedes of Cthulhu. Cthulhu coming back at Jam. Jam just pulling away a little bit there. Intula there after he just ran wide, that's all. A small mistake in one corner, and you're down into 5th place with Alexis Maximus 1 second behind you in his Red Bull. Noxie up into 7th. Noxie having a fantastic race there. Stevie Styler in 8th with Shadow Rider in 9th. Daz is in 10th. Jim Wise is up to 11th, with Dutch now looking to move ahead of Skyjacker, who is in the pits, and there is Kale. We saw having issues earlier with the pit lane. And there's Skyjacker coming out ahead of the Red Bull of Dutch. There, so IR Graham's taken the lead from Psycho. Psycho though back in the tow. We could watch these guys all day long. Absolutely amazing stuff here from the 2 championship contenders. Jam there for Aston Martin in 3rd place, but Cthulhu in the Mercedes on him. Absolutely crazy on him. And Intulu is 5.4 seconds behind these guys in his own battle. I think if we nipped back there to have a quick look with the Red Bull, there he is, see? So who do you want to watch? You pick. Is IR Graham half a second ahead of Matt Psycho. Matt Psycho will have to come into the pits pretty soon, with Cthulhu now ahead of Jam. Jam chasing him down for the tow. Cthulhu up there in 3rd for Mercedes. Great racing there from the Spaniard Fernando. His fuel is flashing. Well, Jam's fuel's flashing. Cthulhu's still got a little fuel out there. Psycho is still chasing IR Graham. 8 tenths now. IR Graham really pushing it. The fuel's starting to come off that car, and he's really stretching his legs. Psycho 8 tenths behind, fuel flashing. Cthulhu has now pulled 7 tenths out on Jam. Jam's fuel also flashing. He might be wary of that. Quite a long way to the pit lane. Alexis Maximus has got ahead of Intulu, but Intulu is on those medium tyres. This stint was always going to be quite painful for him. I bet you he's pleased. He's found someone on soft tyres that he can get a tow from. We saw these two racing earlier on. It's manic stuff. And there we see Psycho did come into the pits for Aston Martin, whilst IR Graham carries on. Cthulhu just coming through to the stadium. We saw Jam peeling off into the pit lane. Everything seems to work okay, so Aston Martin double stacking their cars. Alexis Maximus carrying on through the chicanes to 3rd place. Intulu up into 4th. Or are they? We will wait and see. Ira Graham well on his way, a 258.7 that last time round. Catula is in second spot. Good fair fuel loft on the car. Alexis Maximus definitely third. Intulu up into fourth. Noxie in fifth ahead of Psycho. Noxie could do his teammate a big favour here if he makes that Alpine as wide as he possibly can and really hurt this outlap of Matt Psycho. Matt Psycho being aware of whose teammate he is stuck behind right now, and he'll be wanting to make this overtake very deliberate and concise. In seventh, Stevie Styler ahead of Jam after Jam come out of the pits. Daz is up into ninth ahead of Shadow Rider, who has pitted. Jim One Wise is in 11th, Skyjacker 12th, Dutch in 13th with Kel not having a great race there in 14th. IR Graham still carrying on. Where was that battle we were looking at? Noxie and Psycho. Let's get on board with Psycho and let's see how big the Alpine can suddenly become. In the chat, Jokers says good morning. Oh no, good evening, sorry, I misread that. So now Psycho trying to make the move on the Alpine around the outside. He makes it stick on the brakes. His tyres are a lot newer. Noxie there back in 16th. 16th, sorry, 6th. I don't know what I read that said 16th. So Noxie now following Psycho. Was that enough to help his teammate in and out of the pits? Although his teammate still raring to go. Loads of fuel. Great strategy at the moment from IR Graham. Catula also on a good strategy. Alexis Maximus, similar fuel. Tyres are starting to die on him though. Intula's mediums are doing fine. They're starting to come back. Did a 305.3 his last time around. Alexis Maximus 302.8. But it looks like something's happened on him this lap, because Intula 1.6 seconds behind Alexis Maximus right now. Psycho 2.9 seconds behind the medium-clad Ferrari on his outlap. Trying to make up ground. He was just a little bit behind IR Graham when he pitted. He'll be wanting it to be something similar, but IR Graham I don't think has to pit for a long while yet. There goes Catula. Catula risking nothing, and so Alexis Maximus going in also. Both of those shooting into the pits. Intulu carrying on those medium tyres. He's lost the back end, but he's regained it. What a catch. Well done. The Tifosi going wild in the crowd. Psycho then moving up to third whilst the pit stops are underway. Noxie up into a solid fourth place. He's got quarter of a tank of fuel. His tyres are starting to look a bit used. Stevie Styler then up into fifth place. He's got a good set of fuel in there, so he can go for a while yet. Catula coming back out of the pits in sixth place. He's now put the medium tyres on. He's 5 seconds ahead of Jam, who is under immense pressure from Shadow Rider there in eighth. Not a true representation of his pace today. We saw him earlier on up ahead of the field, and he was mighty. So Jam 3.4 seconds adrift of Catula now. Catula on those medium tyres. It's going to struggle to get those lap times down. Jam there in seventh. Shadow Rider in his tow. Alexis Maximus coming out of the pits in ninth. 2.5 seconds behind Shadow Rider. 28 seconds ahead of Daz, who has got Skyjacker all up in his business. He's not far away. Skyjacker just doing his fastest lap. Jump on board. Whoa, he's come across Daz really quickly there. Is Daz on the medium tyres maybe? Because he came across him with such... No, he's on the softs. He's on an outlap, so maybe just getting used to the new tyre. It's a bit cold. And Skyjacker is ready to pounce. Sitting in the tow. 205 miles an hour. Nearly 6 miles an hour. 206 miles an hour. Just straight lining it all the way down Mulsanne. This is fantastic stuff here. We're 4.2 seconds ahead of Jim One Wise and nearly a minute 20 behind IR Graham. Sitting in the 11th spot. Not great points for McLaren today. I think Kale being at the back, he's looking. No, there's nothing going there. It's up to 208 miles an hour now. He's going for the inside. He's going for the move side by side into the little kink before the heavy break in into the corner. Beautiful stuff. And there you go, Skyjacker taking the position and moving up ahead of the Mercedes. Update on Steve. He's doing all right, wasn't he? He's there, 5th place. 3 seconds behind Noxie, 10 seconds ahead of Cthulhu. He's got quarter of a tank of fuel. He's doing absolutely fine where he is. It's good strategy, I think. Pit in a bit later than the other guys, have fresher tyres near the end of the race. IR Graham still getting those purples, flying 33 seconds ahead. Noxie into the pits. Noxie now coming into the pits. His fuel is flashing. Stevie Styler staying out to build up some more distance between the guys who have pitted early. Cthulhu then 10 seconds behind Stevie Styler. Recently pitted, but he's put the medium tyres on. Jam is only 2.6 seconds behind Cthulhu. Shadow Rider making a jump on Jam into the first corner. There they go. Shadow Rider up into 6th place. Jam is now down into 7th. But will it stay like that? Alexis a little bit further behind these guys. After his pit stop, he's put the medium tyres on also. So Jam in 7th, Shadow Rider in 6th, 2.2 seconds behind Cthulhu. Cthulhu did a 302.070 his last time around. Shadow Rider a 302.362. Stevie Styler a 302.5. Absolutely blistering pace out there. Stevie Styler's fuel nearly out though. Psycho in 3rd place. He's caught Intulu up, who's on those medium tyres now. And Cthulhu will be looking to make a pit stop soon, but Psycho inevitable on those softs. Half a tank of fuel. IR Graham now, fuel is flashing, so he will be looking to make his pit stop at the end of this pit here. Lap 12, start of lap 13. Intulu also looking some similar pit stop. There is Psycho in 3rd. I don't know if that's enough to go all the way till the end or if he'll have to pit again. He's really getting stuck behind Intulu. He'll be getting frustrated now, the Psycho. Stevie Styler there. Whoa, he's hanging it out around that corner. He's only 3.9 seconds behind that fight ahead. Maybe that's what Intulu intends to do. He's backing Psycho into Stevie Styler. Stevie Styler, though, the fuel is flashing. He'll be coming in, similar to his teammates. And IR Graham, we're expecting to come in. There is Psycho trying to get past, and he has done. He's got past Intulu on the track. Intulu having a very good strategy here. I don't know where they're gonna siphon out on track, but this will definitely be these guys' last pit stops. IR Graham then driving into the pit lane. Psycho will take over the lead of the race, we assume, but they're quite a way from the pits, aren't they? 36 seconds. Intulu there, clinging on to the back of Psycho. He's all over the back of that Aston Martin, the Ferrari, looking like a force here at Le Mans. Stevie Styler, some 4.6 seconds behind these guys. They'll be all pitting, I think, except for Psycho. Psycho carrying on. IR Graham, he's just still fueling up. There comes Psycho into the stadium. IR Graham, though, he's on the move. He's back out. Look at that, beautiful stuff. IR Graham straight out, and Intulu and Stevie Styler both coming into the pits. We're watching Cthulhu. Cthulhu some 10 seconds behind them. Last time we looked, Shadow Rider is ahead of Jam. And there they go, Cthulhu up into 3rd place. Izzy, the 2 Ferrari cars in the pit lane. Shadow Rider staying in 4th, Jam 5th. Intulu fueling up, Stevie Styler also fueling up. There is Noxie moving up into 7th place. Noxie loads of fuel on board. Oh my lord, Intulu's on the move though. Intulu might get out ahead of Noxie. And Alexis Maximus Intulu gets out in front of. but Alexis Maximus on him, and he's up through. Sixth for Alexis Maximus, 7th for Intulu. Noxie there in 8th. Stevie Styler back out in 9th place, ahead of Skyjacker, some way behind them, but Skyjacker pulling away from the Mercedes of Daz. So Stevie Styler, all to do. We've got to hope some people are going to be pitting ahead of us. He's only 1 second behind Noxie. Intulu came out really close to Alexis Maximus. Alexis Maximus, half a tank of fuel. Intulu has topped right up, so is that what's going to take? Do they need a full tank of fuel from this point to get to the end? IR Graham's topped up, so yes, maybe there is more pit stops. Psycho, yeah, he will have to pit, won't he? Cthulhu, half a tank of fuel, don't know if it's enough, but he's under attack from Shadow Rider. Shadow Rider trying to get a podium back from his earlier woes. He was leading this race. We saw him lose the back end of the Williams, and then he jumped straight back in the pit, so we didn't know how painful it was for him. And there you see Shadow Rider getting up into 3rd place for now. He's on the soft tyres, quarter of a tank of fuel. Cthulhu on the medium tyres, half a tank of fuel. Not sure if Shadow Rider has done his medium stint. I should write these things down as we go. IR Graham, I'm not sure if he has done the mediums. I think he started on them. So IR Graham leading the way, 7.6 seconds ahead of Matt Psycho. Lap 13 of 18. We're 40 minutes into this race. Shadow Rider up into 3rd place. Cthulhu has no answers for him on those medium tyres. He cannot just keep that pace going. With Jam in 5th, 2.6 seconds behind Cthulhu on the soft tyres. He's only got a quarter of a tank of fuel also. 303.4 his last time around. Cthulhu managing a 303.4. So he's exactly the same, similar pace from these two. Alexis Maximus there in 6th place, 11.5 seconds behind the Aston Martin of Jam, but he's only half a second ahead of Intulu. We've seen these two having quite a battle today. The pair of them have been going at it, hammer and tong. Noxie only 1.5 seconds behind them. He'll be hoping that they start racing with each other again. Noxie got a lot of fuel on board. Alexis Maximus only half. There's Shadow Rider. Shadow Rider has come in. So Shadow Rider's going to drop behind a lot of these guys. That'll be his last stop of the day. Jam staying out. Alexis Maximus looking like he's moving up into 5th. Intula there, moving up into 6th. Noxie up into 7th. Shadow Rider, is he gonna? He's not moving yet. Stevie Styler then moving up into 8th. That's an extra spot for Stevie Styler. Shadow Rider there coming out. He's filled up as well. I'm really not sure how much fuel it'll take to get to the end. Skyjacker coming in. It's a long pit lane. To IR Graham, 7.8 seconds lead on Matt Psycho. Psycho just under a quarter of a tank of fuel. Cthulhu there in 3rd place again. I think, who did I see get past Cthulhu? They must have pitted. But Cthulhu, he's got just over a quarter of a tank of fuel on those medium tyres. Oh, it was Psycho I saw get past him. Yes, Psycho. He's pulled 17 seconds out on him. Surely not. I don't know. 301, a 302, a 303. It's not that sort of time, is it? A 303, a 303. Great lap times from Cthulhu on those medium tyres. For Mercedes, still got a quarter of a tank of fuel. There's a couple of laps. He's got Jam chasing him down. Jam's also going to have to pit. Jam's only 2 seconds behind Cthulhu. Full tank is 5.7 laps, Flashman says. So, yes, that's why they're filling up at this late stage. Great stuff. So IR Graham, that might only just be marginal enough to get to the end. Psycho, he's going to be coming into the pits on this lap. Cthulhu on those medium tyres. He'll go for another lap maybe, unless he wants to get rid of those medium tyres. He has got Jam. I'd say Jam catching him up, but Jam at 301.8 last time round. Cthulhu did a 303, so yes. Now Jam is starting to reel him in a little bit. Alexis Maximus 12 seconds behind these guys, but only 4/10 ahead of Intulu. Behind them, Noxie and Stevie Styler. They can see it all. on board with Stevie Styler. You can see the cars ahead. Stevie Styler, just recently pitted, filled up. It's marginal if his fuel will last till the end. Tulu ahead of Noxie, ahead of us, sat on board. Matt Psycho has come into the pits, and we will check out Cthulhu. I don't think Cthulhu's going to overtake him. I believe Cthulhu probably will come into the pits himself. And nothing's changing here, we can see. It's even Stevens between Noxie, 8/10, nothing though. Cthulhu does go ahead, he doesn't come into the pits. I thought he'd want to get rid of those mediums. IR Graham staying out there. Cthulhu coming through to second spot. There is Jam, he also pitted. Psycho back out there in third place. He's had to go on the medium tyres, he hasn't done the medium stint yet. Will this put him under threat from anyone? He's got 3/4 of a tank of fuel. To see him go through till the end. In Tulu moving up into 4th spot. He's got 3/4 of a tank of fuel, so that confirms it. If Psycho's put that in, that must mean that's how much it needs to go to the end. In Tulu up into 4th place. Stevie Styler up into 5th. We missed somehow him getting past Noxie. I don't know if we'll see it. We might do. Look, Noxie. Just run deep, just run a bit deep into turn 1. I don't even know. Forge Canes, Corvette, no. Oh shit, sorry. I was reading something else. No. So, Noxie coming back to the back of Stevie Styler. Stevie Styler, he's got, it's marginal for Stevie Styler for the end of this race. He might have to fuel save. Noxie, half a tank, I'm not sure. That's going to make it to the end. Noxie in the tow of Stevie Styler. Those two Ferraris, they love driving in tandem with each other. And it's usually Stevie Styler ahead of Intula, so Intula having an absolute blinding race. I think that's Psycho Pace saying let's go in the chat. I'm surprised you didn't sign up to this pace. You did the juniors, didn't you? I thought this would be your cup of tea. There, Noxie is coming back at Stevie. No, Stevie Styler just stays ahead. And now he's getting closer to the other Ferrari. This is crazy stuff. So, IR Graham is flying. 1/4 of a tank of fuel. He's 30 seconds ahead of Cthulhu. Cthulhu will have to pit at the end of this. Psycho, we saw recently pitting. He has put the medium tyres on. He's running to the end now. Intulu, we think, is running till the end in 4th place. Stevie Styler is running marginally, maybe till the end in 5th with Noxie. We think Noxie might not have enough fuel. Jam, he's probably got enough fuel. Shadow Rider has got enough fuel. Alexis Maximus has got enough fuel. Jim and Wise will be pitting at the end of this lap. Daz has also pit in. Skyjacker has got enough fuel. 17 seconds. It's going to be touch and go if Skyjacker can get ahead of the Williams and the Mercedes there. Dutch in 13th. Ahead of Kale. Kale having a disastrous race. He'll be pleased to see the back of this track. So Cthulhu, there we see he's going into the pits. Matt Psycho, not really that far ahead behind him, so he's going to easily take over. 2nd spot again. He's waiting for IR Graham to pit, and we're not sure if IR Graham will pit. I don't think he will. I think he's got enough fuel, enough time. He could just fuel save maybe for the rest of this race. There is Cthulhu. He's dropped down into 6th spot. He's only just getting fueled up. There is Noxie taking over 5th for Alpine. Shadow Rider is going to be moving up into 6th ahead of Jam. Jam is only 2/10 behind Shadow Rider though. Alexis Maximo. Cthulhu has come back on the track in 6th place behind Noxie. 3.5 seconds behind Noxie. Soft tyres, half a tank of fuel. Noxie just under half a tank of fuel. It's going to be marginal for some of these guys. It's going to be really well. Looks like Stevie Styler has evened out, and now he's caught up his teammate. They're both on half a tank. Stevie Styler pushing like a maniac. Absolutely crazy stuff. 3:03.3 from Stevie Styler last time round. A 3:04.1 from Intulu. Everything looks even Stevens. We both saw they pitted at the same time. Stevie Styler sitting in the tow, or are they doing a bit of bump? Are they having a go at that bump draft in to try and move away from Noxie, who is only 1.6 behind them? I think that's what we can see happening here. I think Stevie Styler helping his fellow teammates along, the Portuguese, getting a little bump draft. Yeah, they're pulling away from Noxie. Noxie not in the toe of anyone. He was about 1.6. He's dropped to 2 seconds down this straight alone. So, teammates working amazing together. Brilliant stuff there from the Ferrari boys. Fantastic. That is how you do it. Now Stevie backing off, letting Intula get through the corner. Working fantastically here for the Ferrari boys. IR Graham, 38.6 seconds ahead of Psycho. Psycho, a 3:01. Oh, that was an outlap, so we can't tell his lap speed so far. Intulu just ahead of his teammate Stevie Styler. They bumped themselves a little bit further ahead of the lone Alpine in a great fifth place with his teammate leading. That's good points for Alpine. Katula there in 6th. We've got some moving with Shadow Rider and the Aston Martin. The Aston Martin looked like he was going underneath the Williams, and he's gone out wide, and the Williams carrying on in 7th spot. So Williams getting some points, well needed points. There is Jam in the 2nd Aston Martin with his teammate up there in 2nd place. The first Red Bull of Alexis Maximus there in 9th. They got a little bump in power, but it doesn't seem, this being a really powerful track, is enough today to keep up with the Aston Martin and the Alpine. Skyjacker consolidating with a 10th place. We saw he was right at the back at one point early on in this race. He's come through to get ahead of Jim Myers and Daz. We said he would after their pit stops. They both have to do their medium run. Kale now got himself ahead of Dutch, so it's not all awful. Dutch needing to pit. So up at the front, IR Graham bringing our home. We're on lap 17, the penultimate lap, with Psycho there pushing as hard as he can, getting purples on the medium tyres as well, no less. 38.8 seconds behind IR Graham, 11 seconds ahead of Intulu, who's only a 3/10 ahead of his teammate. Noxie though has caught these boys up, sitting on board with the Noxter, chasing down the 2 Ferraris. It looks like Stevie Styler this time is going to go for the move on Intula. Intula down into 4th spot, and here comes the Alpine boys. You've got to get out of the way. It's a long straight. It's going to be a three-way battle. It looks to me, oh yeah, Noxie might have to pit. We said it was marginal. It looks like he's fuel saving in the toe. Great stuff. Oh God, I didn't meant to press that. Gives you a crap camera angle. I was meant to come back out. There you go. So great thinking from Noxie, doing a bit of lifting down the straight. He caught them Ferraris up quite quickly. They've all got about the same fuel, but Noxie has used a bit more fuel than them. Only 6.7 seconds behind them is Cthulhu. Did a 3:01.1 for his outlap. It's hard to tell with their outlaps, I must say. Noxie did his fastest lap he has done all race with a 3:02.287. Your fastest lap though is IR Graham with a 2:58.780. That is ridiculously quick. It seriously is. So Noxie now on Stevie Styler. Will he make the move early or just sit behind him and fuel save? It is virtually the end of the race though, isn't it? We're on lap 17. Niall Graham is just coming around to start lap 18. I don't think anyone got lapped. Fantastic. So Niall Graham starting his final lap. It's a 3-minute or so lap. There is Psycho, 40 seconds behind on those medium tyres. He was 9 seconds ahead of Intulu. He was 7/10 ahead of Stevie Styler. The Ferraris scoring good points today, and together as well with strength in numbers. Noxie there in 5th, adding some good points to Alpine's total. I should have a quick look really, if my phone's still got any battery, and tell you what the manufacturers is, because it's quite interesting. I didn't even end up telling you what the what the people were. People Championship. Right, let me see if I can find it. Here we go. I don't know why I'm sitting on with Catula. So Noxie has gone in. He's gone in for an emergency pit stop. He's not sure. They're starting the final lap, and Noxie has popped in to the pit. Stevie Styler slipping up the inside of his teammate. I don't know if that's team orders, because Stevie Styler's third in the championship. And Intula not there, but maybe, yes. Team gain from Ferrari. Great stuff. In the championship, you've got Aston Martin on 135 points. Ferrari in second on 115 points. Alpine in third on 101 points. McLaren fourth on 81 points. Mercedes fifth on 63 points. Sixth for Williams on 55 points. And Red Bull in seventh on 53 points. So, Aya Graham coming down to the end of the straight. 40 seconds ahead of Psycho. Psycho trying to get some extra points with that fastest lap that Aya Graham holds at the moment. He did get close, did he, at some point? No, he hasn't got himself in these later laps. He hasn't got out of the 3 minutes. Stevie Styler then up into third. In Tulu, I think. Well, he can't be fuel saving, can he? He's all right. Fuel's fine for both of them. In Tulu, or 1.2 seconds behind of the Ferrari. 6.2 seconds, both Ferraris ahead of the Mercedes of Catula. Shadow Rider and Jam, they are not giving up racing. Jam still taking it all the way to the finish line for Aston Martin against Williams. Trying to help out the other Aston Martin there in second spot. We just said they were second in the championship as well, wasn't it? Aston Martin are leading on 135 points with Ferrari in 115. So this should affect it, surely, with the two Ferraris finishing third and fourth. And Jam down in seventh with Psycho in second spot. This race carries on. Shadow Rider lives another day. And he's starting to catch up with Catula. Is Catula on the medium tyres? No. Catula doing a 3:02.3 his last time around. Shadow Rider did a 3-minute dead. 0.5, and Jam also doing a 3-minute dead 0.7. So these two are absolutely tooth and nail at the moment at it. Catula, he's fuel saving. It looks like he's just trying to bring her home, and these two are racing each other. They've come together. IR Graham's just crossed the line. I apologise. He's taken the win. Well done, IR Graham. Matt Psycho's some way off yet. Stevie Styler is still ahead of Intulu. Catula there is only just ahead of Shadow Rider, with Jam there in 7th place. Psycho, he's just coming up through into the stadium part of the track. Coming through the final chicane. His fuel was flashing, but he made it in the end. A great second spot there for Matt Psycho. IR Graham, Psycho in second. Stevie Styler bringing her home for Ferrari on the podium. That's what they like to see. The Tofosi going wild. Woo! Stevie Styler, take a boo, my son. Intulu finishing in 4th for Ferrari. Great stuff. Catula managing to stay ahead of Jam. Jam's slow. Oh, Jam's waiting for Shadow Rider, and that means Noxie. Noxie comes up through into 6th spot. Oh, poor Shadow Rider. He wanted it, but he could not have it. Noxie in 6th, Shadow Rider 7th. Looks like Jam and Shadow Rider had it coming together in the last chicane. And 9th for Alexis Maximus. Skyjacker coming through to finish in 10th, 9 seconds ahead of Jim One Wise. His fuel looking down. Oh dear, poor Jam and Shadow Rider. They must have had it coming together, but great fortunes for the Alpine driver of Noxie. Skyjacker then coming across the line to finish in 10th. Congratulations, great race. There in 11th we have Jim One Wise. He's some 13 seconds ahead of the Mercedes driver of Daz, who's just on the brink of no fuel. 12th place there for Mercedes. Great stuff there with Catula finishing up there in 5th. Was it 5th? Yes, 5th. And 12 good points. Kale bringing her home ahead of Dutch, but only just a second between 13th and 14th Dutch. There are your positions. Wow, that was exciting near the end there. Poor Shadow Rider and Jam. And there you go. Congratulations, IR Graham, on a great win. Fantastic stuff for round 5 here at the Virtual Racers Club. Well on your way
fighting the boy Matt Psycho to another championship. Whew, let me take you to your race results. Man alive, that was crazy racing. Brilliant stuff. So Graham takes your win with a Psycho in second spot. Third place, an amazing drive from Stevie Styler from nowhere. He strategied his way up there into the podium. I think a little help from Intulu. It looked like Intulu conceded the podium for his teammate. Great team orders there in the Ferrari team. We saw him even bump drafting to try and get away from Noxie. Catula finishing fifth by the skin of his teeth. He had Shadow Rider and Jam chasing him down, but managed to stay ahead of him to get that fifth place. Noxie, opportunist. He had to pop in to get some fuel. He was racing the Ferrari boys, but needed to top up a little bit of fuel. And at the end there, Shadow Rider and Jam having an incident in the final chicane. And Noxie coming through to grab that sixth place from Shadow Rider, who finished in seventh. Jam in eighth. Ninth for the Red Bull of Alexis Maximus. Skyjacker for McLaren. Jim One Wise finishing 11th for Williams. Daz there in 12th for Mercedes. Kale in the second, McLaren down in 13th, and Dutch finishing 14th for Red Bull. Your fastest lap was IR Graham for the Alpine team with a 2:58.780. That was some fantastic racing right there, I must say. Wow, that track's fast. That's crazy fast. Don't forget to join us here at the Virtual Racers Club. There's going to be a a Super GT Championship round posted soon, and also another round of the Pacific Rim Championship. Friday nights we're back with the Max 5s live, and again on Sundays you can join us here for the Formula X, and we're at Blue Moon Bay. That's going to be an infield, surely. They're not going to take these cars around a what's the name? That would be crazy. Around a oval. I'll spit it out. Blue Moon Bay. Doesn't say anything about an infield. 76 laps. Next week might be an oval, guys. I don't want to get my hopes up. Don't want to get your hopes up. You know, let's all stay calm. Let's all stay chilled. But an oval. Could you imagine? That's going to be some crazy schnizzle. So, yes, join us definitely next Sunday. It'd be also nice if you joined us on Fridays. I like the company. I like you in the chat, keeping me company. Don't forget to hit the likes and the subscribes. That always helps. I don't know how. It does. Whenever I see anyone do a YouTube video, they always say, hit like and subscribe. Get your notifications. Hit like and subscribe. So, I thought, if you can't beat them, join them. Hit like and subscribe. Anything else? You can visit our website, www.virtualracersclub.co.uk, for all sorts of goodies. We have some friends on there. You can go and have a look at their stuff. Heel Tread, fantastic socks. I am actually, no lie, wearing my Rothman William ones today. It's they've turned into my lucky socks. I like to wear them when I do big broadcasts like this one. So go and have a look at Heel Tread, look at Acer Lift Designs, just look at the wheels. They're just cool to look at. If you want to buy one, but just go and have a look at them. And lovely stickers. Fantastic. I'd like to thank Gridfinder for adding us to their ranks. It's always a pleasure. And there is announcements of new admins in Discord. I don't know. It's Psycho. I don't know. Did a little AR drum roll. New admin, Matt Psycho. Well done. Good one, Psycho. Well done. Right, they're going to be closing this room down, so I better go, because I've talked too much. I was your commentator and broadcaster, Willie B. Hardigan. Thank you for joining us. I'll see you next time. Love you. Bye. See ya. Cheerio.